I want to get back to President Trump, and let's focus on taxes. We may not get tax reform until late summer. Grover Norquist is with us. He's with Americans for Tax Reform. What do you make of this, Grover? I know you've been on our air a lot recently. I'm worried that late summer, and by that I mean August, is a little late to be getting a tax reform bill in front of the president and signed. What do you say?
Well, the tax reform plan that both Trump put forward during the campaign and then has improved on since, and the House bill, all have the tax rate reductions taking place immediately, as in January 1st of this year. I think it's particularly important for President Trump and the Republicans in the House and Senate to say, here's our outline of a plan, but it will take place starting now, so that because of expensing, one of the big reforms that both the House Republicans and Trump agree on, moving from long depreciation schedules to immediate expensing, people need to know now, in January, that you can go ahead and start making these commitments and making these decisions, and you will be under the new rules.
That's the full expensing side of it. So that, that's very important, because if I'm running a business and I invest $1 million in a new computer system, I'd like to know that I can expense, that is, write off the entire $1 million this year. If I know that, I'll go ahead and buy right now. But what's the other side of the coin? Tax cuts for individuals. If we don't get a tax bill signed by the president till August, I don't see any benefit in my paycheck or your paycheck or anybody else's paycheck until next year. Is that correct?
Correct. Well, you would be seeing, no, you would see it in your paycheck as soon as it passes. It would adjust for the whole year. But once you know that it's going to be enacted, and then you'll see that clearer, top rate's 33% instead of 43%. This is a big deal. The other rates are 25 and 12. Every American who pays taxes will see a tax cut. You can calculate what that is for the year long before the bill actually passes.
See, what I'm trying to get at is, when does the economy get a jolt, an immediate jolt from tax reform? And your answer is, we get an immediate jolt as soon as we find out what's in the tax reform bill that President Trump will sign. That's it.
And
it's a quick jolt. That's what you're saying.
Yes. As soon as people can look at it and say there are 218 votes in the House and 51 in the Senate, they can start making economic decisions wisely, knowing what's ahead of them. So the lower corporate rate is locked in, the expensing is locked in. There's some parts of this bill that could change in the next 2 months. But the lower individual rates, the lower corporate rate, the lower rate for subchapter S's, pass-through companies, S corporations, that's 25%. That's for small businesses. It's a 42% cut in their corporate income tax that they pay through the individual level. You add that to expensing, this is strong. When did the stock market crash over Smoot-Hawley? When they passed it? No. The day it was announced, the votes were there. Markets look ahead, and they can anticipate ahead, both good news and bad news.
That's fascinating. One more quick point. I am told that the death tax, the estate tax at the federal level, goes away, and that the alternative minimum tax, which has tortured a lot of people for many, many years, that also goes away. Can you confirm that?
Yes. Both of those are both in Trump's plan and the House Republican plan, and have strong Senate support. So finally getting rid of the death tax, which was originally put in to pay for the Civil War, lasted 10 years longer than the Civil War did. Then it came back for World War I and never went away. Finally, it's going away.
Now, I'm listening very carefully to what you're saying, and the big picture seems to me to be that we will get, this economy will get a jolt this year as big as the jolt that President Reagan delivered in 1982. Accurate?
Yes, and Reagan's tax cuts became fully effective on January 1st of 1983. In the next year, that 1 year, they created 4 million jobs. In October alone of that year, they created 1 million jobs. So, and this is as big, I think perhaps bigger, because it's expensing and corporate rates and individual rates. It's a tremendous step in the right direction. You add that to the deregulation and speeding up of permits,
it's a big
and
deal.
we should have a very strong year.
I do want to tell you, Grover, that way back then, I was living in America. I was actually working for CNN, and that tax cut, that move by Ronald Reagan, pushed me into America's middle class. It really fulfilled the dream. Because all of a sudden, I was keeping a whole lot more of the money that I was making. It wasn't a great deal of money at the time, okay, but I got to keep more of it, and it meant pushing me up that food chain. I'll never forget it. I remember the refund check that I got. It was astonishing.
Yeah.
Enough to buy a new car, I have to say. I bought a Toyota. So I wouldn't do that now, Grover. Believe me, I wouldn't do that now. Grover Norquist, thanks for straightening everything out. You've offered real clarity, and we like that. Thank you very much.
Thank
sir.
you.
Yes, sir. Check that mark.